Dear Future Me was put together about mid-2017. It's a project I've been working on for several years and put together as an empowering event for youth and young adults. The goal is to have speakers and people and different type of things at this event that will help empower these young youth and push them forward for their dreams and their goals and their aspirations, to know that regardless of where you're at in your life, you can always still achieve your dreams and go after what you want to do in your life.
My name's Lyndon Ray Ignat. This event is called Dear Future Me, and this is my mom's event, and it's all about what young kids and what teenagers and other kids want to be when they grow up. When I grow up, I want to be a dancer and a singer.
And look right over here. Perfect. You want your chin?
Squeeze skin tight. Act like y'all like us. Act like you like each other.
Big smiles, guys. 3, 2, 1, and 3, 2.
Perfect. Hi, I'm Amari Knott.
And I'm Cameron Knott. I see myself in the future being a therapist, making movies and making video games, and being a good hacker.
I see myself in the future being an NFL player, wide receiver too.
Thank you.
Hernandez family.
I'm a deputy sheriff with Alameda County Sheriff's Office. I am 24 years old, and I'm pretty much here to tell you guys a little bit about my journey. Hi, my name is Julissa Rios, and I met Jessica Ignat through the ACSO Academy. She was my RTO, and she was screaming at me for 6 months straight. And I am a deputy sheriff with the Alameda County Sheriff's Office, and I've been doing that for about 2.5 years now. Well, this event means empowering each other and youth to really follow their dreams and really take that step to doing whatever it is that they need to do to take control of their own dreams and accomplish whatever it is that they want to accomplish. So, you know, we create these relationships, and it's a pretty amazing thing. You know, growing up in Alameda County, I kind of seen like two sides of things, you know, the good and the bad, and I knew what I didn't want to be. You know, I had friends that were getting locked up, working at the jail. I see them coming through all the time, and it genuinely makes me sad. And like from a young age, I'm glad that I saw that, and I knew that's not what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. So that was really like my motivating factor, I guess. You know, and growing up, my mom was a single mother with 3, and she like worked her butt off every single day, and like I wanted to give her what she gave to us. So she still lives in that area, and I visit her all the time. I love her to death, and I'm just thankful for this opportunity, this job. It's really created a lot of more opportunities for me and great relationships, and yeah, so thank you, Jessica, for letting me talk. I don't know, do you guys have any questions?
Hello, my name is Celise. I'm from Fairfield, California. I'm an oil painter, and I'm also a fashion designer. Yeah, I'm a 2021 graduate, coming to be graduate. I go to FITM, which is in San Francisco. It's the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. I'm also a portrait painter, as you can see to the side. So, I'm an oil painter. I've been painting for 2 years now, and it came very unexpectedly in my last year of high school. And ever since then, I've been immersing myself into the art world, besides me also being a fashion designer, but this is what I primarily do on an everyday basis of just creating art all the time. So these 3 right here are all oil paints that I have done, actually within last year. So I primarily focus on a lot of like portrait painting. I love getting the spiritual sense of like who I am painting. I connect with the subject or who I'm actually creating. If it's not just from someone that I am having a reference from, it's literally like these 2 just came out of my brain onto a canvas. But it's really, my art really, really evokes the spiritual sense. Like every time you see my pieces, it's usually from, it gives like a otherworldly sense of like where is she at, or what emotion is she, emphasizing. So everybody can pretty much could speculate, like for me as an artist, like how, why, and where she is. But that's pretty much what I do for my paintings. And then also I also do a lot of commissions. So for this, I did a Bruce Lee painting. This was for my sister, and I love painting celebrities and people that really inspire me. And Bruce Lee inspires me a lot. So I created him, and I feel like this is honestly one of my favorite paintings I've ever done. Really, because I was like in the spirit when I was like painting him. I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, it looks great, it looks just like him. And I can say this right now, if anyone has like a skill that they know that they have, like say if you're really good at drawing, or say if you're really good at talking, you should really pursue that. Even if it's not gonna be your real career, but still like have that skill set is just adding to yourself and adding to your purposes. Like I really advise anyone to do that. So that's exactly what I did. So I was like, okay, I know how to paint. So I started painting this very, very, really, it's not a sad, but it was like more of like a political piece. And I was watching The White Helmets. And really the event was about the upside of down. And while I was watching this documentary, I was like, okay, I really got from how this organization was, really trying to save every life that was in danger of what was happening in this war. So I was like really inspired by that, and I created a piece of the upside of down. What I saw, like there was a part in the documentary where this baby was like trapped underneath this building for 16 hours, and they were trying to find this child, and they were really, really digging, and you seen the mother cry, and you saw all of these, it was such a devastating thing to see as a documentary, but they found the child lived. So I found inspiration from this documentary, and I created it. That was like my first painting that I ever did. That was huge, and I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, like the process of me creating this was like, I want to do this again. So I kept on painting. And the next event that I did was the Congressional art contest, and that's when I painted my mother. And my mother is my biggest inspiration, that of everything that I have ever done. So I'm getting emotional because I love her so much. But so I painted her, and that's when I knew that I loved portrait painting. Like I loved it. I was like, if I can really exemplify like the soul of the person that I am painting, I will continue to do this for the rest of my life. So from painting my mom, I painted my sister, I painted pretty much anyone I could think of, and I kept on painting. And how I really got into oil painting, just talking about my journey. My sister moved to Shanghai a couple years ago, and I was going out there. I graduated high school, and I went out there, and she was like, yeah, there's like this hole in the wall, and they have like a bunch of art supplies, let's go, let's just go buy everything that's in there. So I was like, okay, China's cheap. Like I was like, I can get hundreds of art supplies underneath $100. So that's what I did. I bought oil paints, and I painted Michael Jackson. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can really paint. I was like, no one can tell me anything. And ever since then, before I even started FITM, I was painting people, and I was doing events. I've done the Joyce Gordon Gallery. I've been in Warehouse 416. I've been in the Richmond Art Center. I've been into so many different galleries just when I started, just knowing that I had that skill set. And that's why I was like, if anyone has a skill set that they know that they have, if you love teaching, or if you love being with kids and you're really good with kids, like do that. Like you never know what's gonna come out of it. So to this day, I love painting, and I also love fashion design, and I'm gonna get into that because after I came from Shanghai, that's immediately I went into FITM. And so far it's been the most challenging experiences because I had no idea what my degree, of what levels of my degree was gonna take me to, but I knew it really grew me as an artist, and it really solidified like who I really wanted to be. And I feel like I'm a wild card to an extent. I have a lot of things that I can do now. I can pattern draft, I can paint, I can illustrate. I started graphic designing this year, and for the rest of my life, I will be really doing what I really want to do. And I only have that really because of my parents, and they always issued us to do what we really wanted to do. Like, do what makes you happy. We brought you into this world, and we made these sacrifices for you to do what you need to do. And that's exactly what I've been doing, is doing what I need to do to get to where I need to be. So everything of my life leading to now, I've been extremely, extremely grateful. Mind you, with my family being here, the person who taught me how to draw was my Uncle George. I was like, if he didn't teach me how to draw, I'm like, I would have, never been here. So family has always been such a very important factor in my life. And anytime I talk about my art, I'm always gonna talk about my family, because I'm like, I really wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for them. And them always encouraging me, or always telling me to pursue what I need, what I want to pursue.
Hi, my name is Kiana Robinson, and I met Jessica about 8 years ago. She married my uncle, so kind of had to meet her, but great person. This event was such a great way to really just speak to the youth and really give them an idea of where they should be going in life. It spoke to me, made me really try to reaffirm my dreams and think about what I want to do in life, and making sure that I'm pushing constantly to reach those goals, making sure that I'm not allowing those around me to negatively influence my decisions and pursuing my dreams. So, dear future me, we gonna do it, girl.
Cool. All right. I'm proud of me. And in 5 years, I hope, I don't know, y'all. I'm just hoping not to have to pay taxes. I don't know, little stuff. Chick-fil-A not to have a line out the drive-thru. I have realistic goals out here, realistic goals. All right, we're gonna bring up our first speaker, Mr. Curtis Jr. Lee.
It's about engagement and showing, allowing young people to have access to, right? Whether it's 2 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, having access, and then modeling for them, right? And getting them out of the city sometimes, right? As a group, as individuals, my wife be opposed to it sometimes, sleepovers, so they can have an opportunity to see themselves in a different setting, right? And an opportunity to be themselves, so they're not playing off the environment, because a lot of our young people, and adults too, we play off the environments we're familiar to. They're props for us. But when we take them out of that, we kind of like off balance a little bit, but it gives us an opportunity to open up in ways we never figured we'll be able to open up. But it's about being consistent in your messaging, being consistent in being there, not being absent. So my kids expect me every day. If I don't show up, it's like, oh, coach, you didn't show up. And they let me know I was looking for you that day. I needed to talk to you. So I try to be at work every day. I don't miss a day.
So for some of the youngins, obviously, if we're there, right, we're going to be there for them. But how do we get them to accept it? Because some of the folks I grew up with, it was like, I'm not going to live past 18, and that's what they went for. So how do we get them to accept that? Because, once they accept, like, oh, I'm not living past 18, I'm just running with it.
You do have those that believe that they're not going to live past 18. But guess what? They keep waking up. So each day you keep waking up, You know, you have your reminder, I'm still alive, right? And you have to remind them, you're still alive. You're still on this side of the soil. You still have an opportunity to make a change. And they just like 2 or 3, you know, life-affirming decisions from being successful or a failure, right? And it's about incentivizing. So you got to have incentives for young people, right? You got to get something so they can buy in, right? We're not talking about food all the time, even though a lot of y'all agree. But we're not talking about food all the time. We're talking about maybe an opportunity to go on a trip somewhere and see something. Maybe an opportunity to get those pair of shoes that you've been wanting, right? But getting them involved in community service, letting them know you really have to work for some of this stuff. And sometimes you just got to volunteer, sweat equity. You just got to give it up. And a lot of the work I did when I initially came home, I was volunteering. To people like, where you work? I was like, well, I work with kids. I work at Higher Grant. I do after school. And then other opportunities start opening up for me.
That's true. That's true.
I need to go get the scoops. Hello, everyone. My name is Robin Smith. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I have my private practice, which is New Heights Counseling. And what we have here is what I call everything self-care, everything self-motivating, a way to look internally on how to make yourself mentally well, physically well, emotionally well. You can find me at www.newheightsmentalhealthcounseling.com. I also offer individual therapeutic services, on-site therapy services. So if you want someone who looks and feels and is connected with you, I'd say check me out.
You guys like each other, right? Yeah, kind of. All right, give me a big smile. Give me 2.
So I'd like to give a shout out and a thank you to Color Me Mags for making these great shirts for the event. I'd also like to say thank you to Patrice Page of Page Bay Designs for making these great masks, making sure we're all safe today as we have this event. Also like to say thank you to the Alameda County Deputy Sheriff's Activities League for supporting me and sponsoring and assisting with some vendors and food for the event.
Hello.
Hi.
Did you make these shirts?
I did.
It's very wonderful. What's the name of your company?
My company's called Color Me Mags.
Color Me Mags.
Yeah.
And how can we find you? Online or is it?
Yes, on Instagram at Color Me Mags or colormemags.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
One thing that really stuck out to me, it is important to know that you always have the opportunity to change your situation, right? No matter what life hands you, where you grew up, what family you were born into, you can always change your situation, okay? All right, next we have Officer Jujar Singh coming from Hayward PD. He's gonna talk to us real quick. Give it up for him.
First of all, I want to thank my recruit training officer, Jessica Ignat. It's weird to say her first name, but Jessica. No, thank you guys for being here today. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm happy to be here. So just to get into it. So, I mean, when I was a high school student, I was an explorer. I was a cadet and a community service officer. Obviously, my plan was always to become a police officer. That's all I've actually dreamed about doing. I never wanted to do anything else. Senior year of high school, my parents were like, hey, you know, I have 6 cousins who are all doctors. 2 of them are lawyers. So I'm the youngest one in my family, and obviously they were like, hey, you know, go that route. That's no, I don't want to do that. Nope, you're going that route. Cool, sounds good. Thank you. You know, thank you for hearing me out that I want to be a police officer. I mean, I was an explorer for 6 years for no reason, and so they were like, hey, you know, there's a school in Toronto. We want you to we want you to go test for them. There's 2 written tests. There's 5 interviews, and I think you're gonna do good because you have good grades in high school, and we want to see you become a doctor. So now I'm on this plane, right? So I graduate high school, and I'm on this plane with my parents, and I'm not even excited. There's something wrong. I feel it in me. Hey, this isn't right. Why am I even on this flight right now? What are we even doing, right? So, as my parents say, I thankfully passed the tests, right, for medical school. I passed the interviews, and Now I'm starting my first semester of medical school September, I think it was like September 16, like 2015 or something like that. So I still remember the day. I know I'm kind of weird like that. So we were first day of class, right? And everyone's like, you know, there's like 30 kids in the class, and I'm just like sitting there, and I feel like I don't fit in, right? So I'm just like, whatever, dude. You know, I gotta do this for my parents. You know, they did a lot for me. This is what they want me to do. And you know, I have like 6 cousins who are already doctors. If they could do it, I could do it. I think I'll be fine, right? I just gotta get over myself, this and that. So the pre-med program was 1.5 years long, right? So I stuck through it. I finished all the semesters. I ended up being the valedictorian of my class. And still, like nothing's clicking, right? I'm just like, dude, like this, no, still it doesn't make it, like I'm not even excited. Like I got this, they got me doing this speech, right? Not like this speech, but that one was like a little fake speech. I promise that. That was a faker speech. So I was just like, oh yeah, you know, I'm excited to be here, you know, this and that. Like, you know, I'm going to MD in the Caribbean islands. Like, you know, my whole class is excited. You know, they're going to go to the islands and, you know, MD and woohoo, right? No. So I finished my first year of pre-medical sciences. I go and start my MD program, and still just feeling like, you know what, I don't belong here. I have good grades in med school, right? So I'm just, you know, like whatever, like I'll push through it. My parents are happy, my family's happy, and the culture that I come from, it's whatever the elders say, that's what's going to happen, right? So I know a lot of people, unfortunately, that are my age, that are from the same culture as me, and they're like in careers that they have no interest in, right? So now, like, you know, fast forward, I'm a 3rd-year medical student. In the Caribbean islands, right? We're ready to, you know, take our U.S. examinations. I'm like one week apart, right? And one of my professors pulls me aside. He's like, hey, you know, I heard you're the valedictorian in your pre-med class. You know, you're finishing off 3rd year. Like, you know, where do you see yourself in 5 years, right? It's weird because this I saw like Instagram videos on this, you know, on the kid, you know, saying like, hey, I see myself, you know, I see myself being a lawyer. And my professor asked me that, and I don't have an answer to that, right? He was like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is it surgery? Is it family medicine? Is it, you know, is it pediatrics? And I was like, oh, you know, I'm still thinking about it and this and that, right? Just kind of give him a BS answer and just walk out of the room. And I remember it was a week before examinations, right? So I asked myself, I was like, hey, Jay, you know, if I don't have an answer to this by the end of next week, I'm not coming back for 4th year. Like this, it's done. Like I'm not going to go through with it. And it is what it is, right? Took the examination, still have no answer. Like, you know, my friends are like, yeah, you know, I want to go into pediatrics, I want to do family medicine, I want to do, you know, I want to work with the, you know, mentally ill patients, this and that. And I'm over here like, yeah, 5 years, I see myself being a police officer, right? Obviously, that's not the answer that my parents want to hear or that professor wanted to hear, right? But honestly, I wanted to hear that answer, right? I wanted to be like, hey, you know, I see myself in 5 years being, you know, being a police officer, or probably getting, you know, screamed at by Jessica Ignat in the police academy, right? So, still weird to say your first name, by the way. I'm just gonna mess with you all speech. Yeah. So you know, I come back, right? My dad's like, hey, you know, good grades. I saw, like, you know, the email came out. You know, 4th year starting up. You're like 4 years away still. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going back, Dad. Excuse me? Like, no, I'm not going back. He's like, dude, do you know how much money I spent on your med school? Blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, I don't care. I'm not going back, right? I don't see myself doing this, and it is what it is. I already sent an email to the dean, and we're done, right? 2.5 months before going to the academy, like, you know, you start preparing yourself a little bit physically, mentally. I get into a car crash, right, with one of my best friends, and I get injured. So now I'm like, hey, you know, I have this letter in my hand that's saying that I have an academy day, and you know, I get into this car crash on, you know, Highway 5, and we're both injured, and you know, I'm just kind of like trying to walk it off because I know I got this academy coming up, and nothing's gonna come in the way to, you know, I'm finally here, right? I finally get to where I wanted to be. I start feeling like this lower back pain, right? We have like PT before they send you to the academy, like your department does that with you, and my recruit training officer's like, dude, are you okay? Like, you know, like, what's going on, man? Like, you know, you're injured, this and that. So I finally, you know, get some x-rays done, and doctor's telling me that, hey, you know, you need lower back surgery, like, you know, as soon as possible before, you know, you mess it up for yourself. And thankfully, the Hayward Police Department was like, hey, you know, we'll send you to the next academy, we'll extend you, get that surgery done. So now that surgery, I'm on the bed for 2.5 months. So obviously, you can ask RTO Jessica, no, my PT was not where it's supposed to be in the academy. I was like dead last in the academy, first month, like you're just you're just like, I didn't do anything, right? Like I started like 3 weeks before, I got off the bed 3 weeks before the academy. You're still on medicines, like painkillers, all that, right? So I remember the first day when we went to the academy, it's called Fright Night, I mean, you guys know. So that's the first time like someone screamed in my face. Okay, Jessica, no. All right, so she came up to me and she's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, you know, I want to be a police officer. Like, why are you shouting? Chill. Like, damn, right? Like, dude, like, and I was like, oh, I want to be a police officer. Well, you're not going to make it. Like, I don't even know you. Like, what? Okay, you know, nice to meet you too. Like, you know, I'm like, you know what, this, like, I'm not going to quit, right? This is not going to happen. It's not going to be me, right? And even though in the back of my head I was like, damn, you know, I left med school, you know, my family's like very upset with me. The whole community's like asking me like, hey, weren't you going to become a doctor, man? What's going on? This and that. What are you doing? I never told anybody I was in the academy. Only my family knew, and I was like, hey, nobody needs to know except for me and my family that what I'm doing, right? I don't need all these people in my business, right? So they're like, I was like, yeah, you know, I'm still working on it. You know, we'll see how it goes. In the academy, right? PT was just, it was not good for me. So, you know, I linked up with some friends in the academy, right? Hey, I was like, hey, I'll help you guys with the academics if you guys hook me up with the PT. So I stayed after the academy, started running those hills, you know, push-ups, all that, started doing that, right? For the second Cooper's test, I was surprised I actually passed it, right? So I was one of, like, you know, very few recruits that actually passed the Cooper's test. It was awesome, right, to see, like, hey, you know, finally, I could see myself becoming like a police officer. So it's like, it's awesome to work for the community that I was born and raised in. It's the biggest thing I could tell, you know, you guys and the youth is just follow your heart. Like, you know, you guys know you guys know you well, right? No, your parents can like help guide you and all that, and they want the best for you guys, but you know where your heart's at. And I wish that's something I kind of stood up to my parents in high school and be like, hey, you know what, I appreciate that, you know, the offer that for med school and you guys are going to pay for all that, but that's not me. And I would hate to, you know, for people to, and there's people out there that actually get through that program, and you know, now you're working with real patients. I wouldn't be able to cheat myself like that. I wouldn't be able to cheat my family like that, and especially those patients. So,
my name is Jonathan Davis. I'm a poet. This is a wonderful event. One of the things I could have benefited in the future was actually being able to know what my calling was in life at an earlier age. But later on, I went on to different places and went to different conferences called Transforming the Minds of Men, so it still benefited in my later years of life. I'm proud of my sister Jessica putting on this event. This is a wonderful thing for the youth, and we have a lot of different things going on in our society, a lot of social ills, so this is very, very important to uplift the youth in the community.
Hi, my name is Ivana.
And my name is Anne.
Okay, so I've known Jessica for about 3 years now, and I really enjoyed helping her out with this event. It's been super great. I'm very excited for what's to come today.
I've known Jessica for almost 3 years now, since I got hired with the county, and I know this event will be the first of many other events. I know she has a huge heart, and this is really important to her, and I'm here to always help her. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anna Espinosa, and I am a survivor of domestic violence. I almost lost my life, but I rose up and made a life-changing decision. I wanted to share with you a few things in hopes that one day, if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, you can remember my words. During my early 20s, I found myself in a relationship and married to someone I thought loved me and cared about me. But instead of his love, it turned into pain and hurt. I was being abused physically, mentally, and emotionally. I would tell myself that things were my fault and I thought I could change him. He had isolated me from my family and my friends. I had no one to turn to or confide in. I was stuck, but I would always try my best but I would always try to make the best out of the worst situation for my eldest son. As the time went by, things were getting more dangerous, and I needed to get away, because now it wasn't just my eldest son and I, but I was also pregnant with my second child. I had to find the strength and courage to walk away and never look back. I had two little people who were dependent on me, and I wanted to give them the very best. When I made the decision to walk away, I did not turn back. I just ran forward, ran far and fast into the life that I am most proud of today. I can honestly say that I am truly happy and that I know what love means. Over time, I learned to love those around me and to ultimately love myself. My message for everyone would be to know when to reach out when you need help, to know when to walk away, to understand that your partner's decisions are not your fault, or their actions are not your fault, and to learn how to self-love. Thank you.
We can do so much better than that. That's a survivor right there, guys. Wow.
Bracelets there, she handmade those, and these are for adults. And as you'll see, there's bath salts. You can smell the samples.
My name is Ariel Alvarado. Today I helped out Jessica Igna put on her event for Dear Future Me. I was the technical consultant on scenes today, and I also did a bit of behind the scenes with promoting the video and putting the video together. I met Jessica Igna through the Explorer program, and as I kept promoting through the agency, I interacted more with her and got close to her through the cadet program at the Regional Training Center.
I'm Ava Moniz. I actually met Jessica Igna through the Explorers. I came to work at the Regional Training Center and volunteer, and she became a mentor for me. She actually helped me with some training, so I'm grateful for her, and I got to come and speak at this event, which I'm super excited about. When I was 14, I did a youth police academy through Dublin Police Services. It was kind of a week-long thing where you got to tour the jail, learn about crime scene stuff, and all the cool stuff you want to see that you saw on TV. That's what I did, and I was like, this is cool, I want to do it. The sergeants in charge were Blaylock and Klingenberg. They were like, hey, we have an Explorer program, you want to join? And I was like, sure, so I hopped on that. For anybody who doesn't know what the Explorer program is, it's a young adult program It's a program for young adults ages 14 to 21 who volunteer with law enforcement and explore different careers in law enforcement. So what that looks like is you learning about the careers, right? Like going on ride-alongs. My advisors at the time were from Bomb Squad, so I got to blow up stuff sometimes on ride-alongs or go out on patrol and work with the community and work with kids, and it was awesome helping people and being there. And then on the other side of it, it was working community events, doing community policing, handing out stickers to kids, and kind of promoting that. And one of the events I did was called the Santa Rita Jail Youth Education Program, and that was for troubled youth. And it was kind of like a Scare Straight, but a little nicer, no yelling or anything, but we took them on a tour and stuff, and I mentored kids and did that and got them into the Explorer program or helped them if they wanted advice in a different career, whatever it was. So I've done that. I've also got into the field wanting to pursue law enforcement because I also joined Combat Sports Academy. I started fighting in mixed martial arts. I started doing Krav Maga, which is Israeli self-defense, taught to military and law enforcement. It's also known as the world's deadliest martial art. It's really cool. It made me feel safe. I was mentored there from SWAT guys from different agencies that were like, hey, I want to help you understand violent encounters and why stuff happens and learn threat indicators and to keep yourself safe. And so I was very fortunate to have great mentors in my life to make me help me make the right decisions in high school and keep on the right path and keep pursuing what I want to do, which is to help people. I've always was raised to, it didn't matter if what a person's race was or gender or anything. It was you give and you help because they're human and you love each other and you do that. And that's why I wanted to go in the field. Piece of advice for any youth and anybody, don't care what people think of you. The second you care about what somebody thinks of you, you are ruining your own success. You're changing for somebody else, you're not doing it for yourself. and it gets in your way. Like, in high school, everybody knew I was associated with cops. Everybody knew that, like, that's what I wanted to do, and I didn't care because I looked at ACSO, well, I still look at them as a family. I had great mentors that helped me in my journey, and I wanted to do that. I knew I was doing the right thing. I didn't care what you want to call me, what name you want to call me. Like, I'm here for a reason, and I want to do the right thing. So just please, like, don't listen to what people think of you. Continue to do the right thing. Be a good human being. You're defining your own success by doing that. So thank you guys for coming out here. If you have any
Jessica Ignat was born and raised outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in Montgomery County. She graduated from Wissahickon High School in 2001 and from there went on to Kent State University on a track scholarship. She received her Bachelor of Science degree in Human Development and Family Studies with a youth concentration in December of 2005 and moved to the San Francisco Bay Area in January of 2006. With initial goals to work as a group counselor in juvenile hall in Alameda County, her decision was slightly redirected by her uncle Donald, who pushed her to apply for the sheriff's office to be a deputy sheriff, in which her reply was, "I don't want to be a cop." But after putting in the application, she went through the hiring process, and within 10 months of moving to California, she was in the police academy as a recruit. Now she's yelling at recruits. Talk about full circle, right? Love it. She graduated from the academy in September of 2007 and went on to work many areas within the sheriff's office. In 2011, Jessica assisted Sergeant T. Montague and retired Captain Mike Carroll with the start of the Santa Rita Jail Youth Education Program. That program allowed for youth who may have been heading down the wrong path to come see the jail and to see how bad decisions could turn out. She also connected with Hillary Bass and Captain Marty Nidifer, then Sergeant, of the Deputy Sheriff's Activity League and began to pour out ideas regarding the community. By 2015, Jessica was hosting track and basketball clinics at Edendale Middle School in San Lorenzo. She trained and coached many kids in the area of her program entitled Take Flight Track and Conditioning. They competed at Chabot College Kids Summer Series and the U.S. Track and Field Sub-Bantam. Is that how you say that? Bantam. Y'all ain't have to do me like that. Bantam Championships. Read this whole thing perfectly and couldn't get In 2017, while assigned to the Crime Prevention Unit, Jessica started the Sheriff's Office, first ever backpack drive. Between 2017 and 2019, through charitable donations, 150 to 200 backpacks full of supplies were distributed to the youth in the unincorporated areas of Alameda County. In November 2017, Jessica also hosted the department's first coat and blanket drive, which provided warmth for many people in need for the winter months. In the works of starting her own podcast in 2020, during much tension between law enforcement and society, Jessica wrote 16 spoken word pieces under the series entitled Black and Blue. Jessica uses the spoken word pieces to speak about her life as both a Black person and a member of law enforcement, or blue. Or gray if you work at the courts. Look out for her podcast entitled Black and Blue Mirrors in 2022. Y'all give it up for Jessica Ignat.
I appreciate everybody that came out. We had a good number of people that came out. I want to give special thanks to many people who helped assist me get to this point. I put this together in 2017 and wrote it up and tried to put some things together in 17 and 18, but different people wanted to put their hands on it, and I wanted it a particular way. So I decided to wait. And then as things started to progress with the pandemic in 2020, still going to work, I got the idea for Dear Future Me from the gospel song by James Fortune called Dear Future Me, and it played every day. I have my Todd Tribbett Pandora on my car every morning. I'm driving into work, and that song made its play every day coming in 2020. So when I hit 2021, I said, I got to get this off the ground. My goal is when we hit year 5, that this will be a conference where we're at maybe a hotel or a nice venue that has a 2-day event. We'll have breakout rooms. I'd look to try to travel and take this around the country and really work my way to uplift youth all around the United States and maybe even outside of the United States.
Dear future me.
Dear future me, when I grow up, I want to be a cardiologist and help other kids with heart conditions because I have one.
In 10 years, I want to be an NFL offensive lineman or defensive lineman.
Dear future me,
In 5 years, I will be a juvenile justice attorney working to be a prominent member in that field.
When I grow up, I want to use my imagination to make movies for the glory of God.
When I grow up, I want to be a police officer.
Dear future me, you will be an architect and interior designer.
When I grow up, I want to be a soldier. I want to protect the country.
When I grow up, I want to be an FBI agent.
When I grow up, I want to be a hairstylist so I can help others feel good about themselves.
Sometimes I wonder.
When I grow up, I want to be a chef.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor and an artist.
When I grow up, I want to be an author.
I want to be a baseball player when I grow up. I want to be a paleontologist when I grow up.
How you doing? I'm Jessica Ignat, and this is Dear Future Me.